it's great now. I'm having some fun and reading heavy metal news stories. If you can get through the intro, you might have a good time, so let's not waste another moment. Let me see them hands. Jive, jive, jive me, jive, jive, jive me now. I apologize if that irritated you in some way. The people that are absolutely irritated right now, they're gone. We don't need to worry about them anymore. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Guys, you're not going to believe this, but I don't take a single lick of time to do that, okay? I should take more time. I should be more invested in the intros. I don't even think about them all week long until I get to this very point where I sit down in this chair in front of my little laptop system, what I have right here, and I start doing it, okay? I welcome you one and all. This is episode 144 of the podcast. We have heavy metal and hard rock news stories to get to. Lots of ins and outs. Your comments, if you would like to see your comments on the episode, all you got to do is comment on this episode, and I read it the following episode. The comments from the last episode. Does that make any sense to you? Also, this is not the place for requests, of course. Any other video that I have out there in the interweb, you are welcome to put a comment saying, Shane, you should do this tune. But not here. This is for your feedback on the episode we did or whatever the hell's on your mind. You can even ask me life questions if that's what needs to happen there. Nothing too serious, though. Don't be talking about we got to pull the plug on mom and what should we do. I'm not going to get involved in that. If mom's on her last fucking leg, don't put any comments down there trying to tell me, what should we do, Shane? We're either going to leave her plugged in or pull her, depending on what you say. Don't give me that authority. I do not deserve that. Let's get into this episode. I have a sip here on my drink. If you're watching this or listening to this right now, we have just done the Motley Crue's version of Fight for Your Right to Party is Terrible, or Awful, I call that video. And I kind of mixed together a couple of elements on that where I put, it's kind of a first listen of sorts that I put up on Sundays where we listen to first new songs or old songs or whatever for the very first time. It's like that, but I stop it and start it. So I'm able to piss everybody off because people hate it when I stop my videos. When I stop and start them, they don't like that. And the other half don't like when I talk at all. So I don't know I can't win. I can't win. Let's get into it right here. This is a fibber right here. This is Michael Sweet. I was going to say Matthew. He's got his little soul patch there. He's got his real cool sunglasses on, those Jeffrey Dahmers. And he's got his little soul patch. Looks like he might have shaved just a little dash off there, that, you know, that little triangle bit there. Probably he did an oopsie doodle there. And, you know, and then you've got this old teddy bear right here, this, home ec teacher, James Hetfield, right there. But Michael Sweet's telling lies, and I thought he was a religious man, but he's telling lies. Because he says, Michael Sweet says he has never been a big fan of Metallica, and it'd be hard for him to even name one song. Now, either he's goofing and he's just saying, I'm just kidding, Jesus. I'm not really making a lie like that, because I could pull my grandmother, who's deceased. I could get her on the goddamn Ouija board. She died in 1986. I could get her on the Ouija board, and she'd say, yeah, nothing else matters. Elton John freaking likes it. You're telling me Michael Sweet doesn't like Elton John, because Elton John has went on record as saying that one of the most beautiful songs and best ballads in the world, and it even made little teddy bear eyes here cry, was Nothing Else Matters. And he said that on Howard Stern, and you can look that up, and you can see James Hetfield almost getting a little tear in that weak chin of his. And there's nothing to get wrong with weak chins, because I've got one, okay? But it can take a punch, I'll tell you right now. It can take a punch. Not that I want a punch. Let's get into this story and find out what's happening. He's telling lies is what he's doing. And Jesus don't like that, Michael. In a new interview with Robert Cavoto of Meglobal. My Global Mind. Okay, it's just one word put together. My Global Mind. Stryper frontman Michael Sweet was asked if he went to see Metallica when the legendary metal outfit performed in his home state of Massachusetts recently. And Michael responded as transcribed, I didn't, man. And I'll be honest, I'll tell you, I've gone on record to say this. I respect Metallica. I get why everyone else loves them. How do you get them? How do you know? How do you get it if you've never heard it? And I get it why everyone else loves Metallica. And they're legendary. I've never been a big Metallica fan. I don't listen to Metallica. It'd be hard for me to name one song. Maybe I could name one or two songs. I'm just not a big fan. I don't get excited about that style of metal. I get excited about Judas Priest style of metal, Iron Maiden style of metals. Even Pantera, which obviously you hear a lot of Metallica's influence on Pantera. How do you know what their influence is like if you've never heard but one or two songs? But I get excited about that. Pantera style, that's what I get excited about. We played with Pantera in Mexico, and there's an energy, man, that's just indescribable. And we played with Metallica before, too, back in the day, when Dave Mustaine was still in the band. So, like, their first 5 gigs. So I know about Metallica, and it's not like I'm not educated. And I've heard them, and I've seen them, of course, but I don't know. There's just something about Metallica that just doesn't do it for me, personally. Is it all that money and fame? And they came out with the Snake Pit before Michael says, guys, put down your yellow and black guitars because I've got something to tell you. I've thought about an idea for our concerts. There will be a special area in the middle, a circle, if you will. We'll call it the Snake Pit. What do you think of that? They says, now Metallica's got it. But hey, man, always going to give them a blessing. Metallica's going to bless them for the Lord. But hey, man, God bless them. Amazing. Legendary band who has proven to be a force. Stryper's new album, When We Were Kings, is due out on September 13th. I didn't know it was this so soon. We just did the song for When We Were Kings. Reaction video. Via Frontier Music SRL. Stryper, 40th anniversary tour will begin this fall. The dates kick off September 11th. That's the holy day. We don't do nothing on that day, do we? In Greensville, Tennessee, and concludes November 16th in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Very lovely out there. Myrtle Beach. You hear about that all the time. Stryper's 40th anniversary tour will be a celebration of both classic hits and new era fan favorites, including outfit changes and an exciting new show production. They're going to put on the old razzle dazzles, the bedazzled stuff. They're going to put on that stuff that, didn't they have like little danglies and stuff on the first set? You know, like old cowboys used to have the... this will be a 2-set evening style show. All right, there you have that. Well, let's read this little bit here. Formed 41 years ago, Stryper name comes from Isaiah 53:5, which states, but he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. He brought that to the band room too. Wait, this picture here looks like that soul patch is a little bit more. No, I still think that he's missing a patch there. What he's done is he's trimmed it just a little bit there. That it needs to fix that. Let's get on to Steel Panther. This fella right here, he lives in 1987. He wears the goddamn shirts to prove it. They say, what's your favorite year, Mr. Michael Starr? He says, 1987. Even though he wasn't even born then, right? He was probably born in the, what? 90s. See, a 90s kid. Still Panther. Now, I wanted to read this because he's not interested in burying hatchets with other musicians. And I was curious of who's all on that list. Other stories that we're going to be talking about as well, too. Slipknot Sid, Kelly Osbourne's husband, he burned him. He exploded and blew up. We got your comments. We also got John 5 here. He's going to show us his little ugly-ass dog. Not, dogs are, all animals are wonderful and beautiful. But this is, he's going to do a little ad there. But stories we won't be talking about is Tom Hunting, Exodus. He's doing good after cancer. Remember all that? The big C? He's doing fine. Lincoln Park, they had that countdown clock. It just went to shit. There was no announcement. A Testament, they are in the studio. They're getting prepared and they're doing something, mixing, recording, doing some stuff in there. So that's just, just doing you a little favor there and hitting you with a couple of the things we won't be talking about. But let's get into this, see what he's got to say. I know, is he not a fan of Eddie Trunk? I want to say that there's a situation with that too. Have I irritated everybody yet? In a new interview with Meltdown of Detroit's WRIF radio station, Steel Panther frontman Michael, the Starman Star, was asked if he has buried hatchets with any of the musicians in other bands that haven't been crazy about his group. Oh, is that where it all stems from? Oh, it's going to say his real name? Well, we don't care about that, right? Because it's like a glorified cover band, yes? Michael Starr, whose real name is Ralph Sands, responded, transcribed by Blabbermouth. Well, I'm not in the business of burying hatchets with people that have has resentments towards me. I'll tell you that right now, because that's on them, dude. Anybody you usually run into is not going to confront you and go, "Hey, man, I hate your band." They're just either ignore you or go away. "Hey, what's up, bro?" So whoever doesn't like the band, everybody is entitled to their own damn opinion. Art is subjective, man. And if you don't like our art, then go listen to somebody else. Who cares? Go listen to somebody else. Who cares, right? So we developed pretty thick skin. When we were walking through festivals of our first time in spandex, people were looking at us going, "Who is this band? Who are these guys?" And then we developed even thicker skin when we opened up for Judas Priest for 10 weeks in America. So yeah, we're okay with it, and we get it, and we understand it, but we still rock. He's laying some stank on that. Asked to elaborate on what he meant when he said that he and his Steel Panther bandmates developed thicker skin when they toured with Judas Priest, Michael says, well, thick skin is good for when people throw stuff at you, like, "Get off the stage, you suck." That kind of thing when they do that. So you get used to that. And I remember we were playing Rochester, New York. I think it was the first show of the tour. And the promoter decided that he was going to push Judas Priest back an hour so he could sell more beer, which is pretty normal. And it's a very common thing. Pushing it back so people can buy more beer. But they don't tell the crowd that. That's what they don't do. They push the time back, and then you can buy more beers and stuff. But what they don't do is tell the audience it was pushed back an hour. So the crowd is mad that we went on late. And they think it's our fault. So that first show was pretty gnarly, man. Pretty rough. Our job at the time was to go out there and win over as many fans as possible. Obviously, you're not going to win over the whole thing. You kidding me? We're not going to win over the whole crowd. Maybe you could, but I don't see that happening. Not in this multiverse. So it's a percentage game. It works, man. You got to go out there and earn it. And it ended up being really great. Great tour for us. it brought us together as a band too. We made love that night. As well, because we had the band together really tight to put up with it. Band had to be really tight. But we didn't waver off. We didn't change our set. We didn't stop the banter. Because all they talk about is balls and dicks, don't they? They save all the nasty, like the kinky talk for the songs, but all they do is just go, my balls itch and stuff, don't they? I don't know. We did everything we normally do. And all the parents that brought their kids to the front row, they just kind of took them to the concession stand, got a pretzel while we played. I'm not kidding. That's a true story. 5 years ago, Steel Panther engaged in a public war of words with Motley Crue when Starr and Steel Panther drummer Styx Zadina were asked in an interview which musicians from the past they would like to bring back. Starr replied, I'd bring back Vince Neil. Oh, I think I remember that. And Zadina chimed in, he's not dead. Starr pressed on saying, I'd bring back Vince Neil from back in the day because that guy is dead. You don't need to say things like that, Michael fucking Starr. How dare you? After news of Steel Panther's comments made the rounds, Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx tweeted, and he will, he's got them thumbs to do it. The singer in Steel Panther can go fuck himself. Wanna be a wannabe band putting down Vince Neil, ? One fan then pointed out that Steel Panther sometimes plays Motley Crue songs during its concerts. To which the Crue bass player replied, that's why they are assholes. Backstabbers. In a February 2023 interview with Loaded Radio, Steel Panther guitarist Satchel was asked about the chances of Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee, who is reportedly not a fan of Satchel's band, ever making a guest appearance on a Steel Panther record. He responded, we love Motley Crue. And we're always going to love Motley Crue, and we're always going to be fans of them. And Tommy is honestly, he's a great drummer. You wouldn't know it from that damn Fight for Your Right to Party song. He biffed that one pretty good. He's one of them he's one of the best rock drummers, but I don't know if Tommy is ready to play on a Steel Panther record. There's some laughing there. But if he is, we'd love to have him because he's a great drummer and it would probably be really cool, whatever he does, because the guy plays great. He's awesome. He's as solid as a rock. And no, I'm not going to go into Peaches and Herb's Solid as a Rock, right? They're the ones that did that. Solid as a rock. Is that Peaches and Herb? Asked what Tommy's issues were with Steel Panther, he says, I think Nikki had more of an issue with us than Tommy. Or maybe they both did because they thought we were bagging on Vince. But I think what Michael Starr meant when he said what he said about Vince was, it was just a lighthearted jab at how bitching, you can't say bitching, because I know what he's going to say here. How kick-ass Vince was back in 1983, but you can't use the word bitching. You got to, put the apostrophe there. A lighthearted jab at how bitchin' Vince was back in 1983 compared to how he is now. But I'll tell you what, I saw pictures of Vince recently. He's fat. No, he didn't say that. I saw pictures of Vince recently. He looks really good. He's taking care of himself. How do you know? Are you looking in his fridge? Are you seeing him on the treadmill? So I wish all of those guys the best. I like Motley Crue. Satchel addressed the Six online feud in a 2020 interview with The Ultimate Guitar. Very good. It's literally the greatest guitar website because it's the ultimate. There's only one thing above that, right? Penultimate. That's the only thing bigger. Asked if Steel Panther's Concert to Save the World live stream event was a plan to steal the audience from Motley Crue. Did they do that on the same night or something? Satchel. You know what? Motley Crue had tour plans, and that shit got canceled, right? I mean, I'm a fan of Motley Crue and think that Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx can act like total dickheads much of the time. But that's also what comes with being a rock star sometimes. The guys want to act like dickheads, and they do, and that's cool. I still like the songs, but we can't steal their fans any more than they can steal ours. People are going to be fans of both bands, and I'm always going to love Motley Crue no matter how big a dicks they have. That's what he says. I'm always going to be a Motley Crue fan no matter how big a dicks they have. Nikki Sixx is because... how big a dick Nikki Sixx is, because I like how they sound. They have a good sound, those guys. Our bands are not mutually exclusive, and you don't have to hate Steel Panther to love Motley Crue, and vice versa. And you don't have to hate Motley Crue. You don't say vice versa and then do the thing. You don't have to hate Steel Panther to love Motley Crue and vice versa. And you don't have to hate Motley Crue to say Nikki Sixx is a dick as well. Okay, well. And he laughs about that. And I don't think that's a proper thing to laugh about, calling people dicks. I still love Motley Crue even though I think Nikki Sixx is a dick. Stop it! These things are not mutually exclusive. And you know, guys, he's laughing again about it. He thinks it's funny. Asked if everything is cool between the two bands. Now Satchel says, I don't have anything going on with those guys. I don't really give a fuck one way or the other. Like, if I saw them, I probably wouldn't go hang out with them because Nikki Sixx seems like he doesn't like my band. So I probably wouldn't buy him a beer. What you would do is you would extend the olive branch. You'd smile at him. You'd outreach your arms. He doesn't drink anymore. Right? Is that what he said? I'd ask him for a nice cold beer. Wouldn't buy him a beer. Yeah, you wouldn't because he doesn't drink it. Or does he? But I don't have anything against him. I wish him the best in the future, but it seems like we annoy Nikki Sixx, and I'm fine with being annoying to Nikki Sixx because I don't really give a fuck. The more you say you don't give a fuck means you give a fuck. But I don't think we're going to be on tour with Motley Crue anytime soon. That's what I reckon. Pulling from his southern roots there at the end. That's what I reckon. Let's get into this guy. I got a little bone to pick with this guy here, Mark Tornillo of Accept. He made a comment saying that the United States is not metal territory anymore because we got all that horse shit going on with R&B and everything else. R&B and hip hop, and now they've all molested each other. There's hip hop country, there's R&B rap, there's R&B country. It's all over the place. Heavy metal, strong and true, strong and true. We already had all our branches. We're a bushel. You had hip hop, rap, country. And now all of their roots are tangling. It's just one big tangle of roots. But heavy metal is a bushel, baby, that has been cultivated over decades and decades and decades. Accepts Mark Tornillo, clarifies his comments, and I want to appreciate him for that. Where he said, the U.S. is not metal territory anymore. I didn't mean it in a derogatory term. That's the only way we can take that, sir. When you say it's not metal territory anymore, there's only one way we can take that. Derogatory. Oh. There's this guy on the bus. Now, there's about like 3 weeks ago. You know when you're playing a video game or something? I don't play a lot of video games, but like when you see video games and there's like a lobby of some sort and there's characters all in there and a lot of them have the same look. They look the same. There is this guy and I wish I could I'd draw a picture of him, but he's just your regular old Joe. He's just your regular guy. He's 38. He's got beard, mustache, short hair, glasses, sits in the same seat, doesn't look forward. He's a serial killer. He doesn't look at anyone. He doesn't make any emotion. He sits in seat. You know, I get off the bus and on the bus and off the bus. He's always there. This is where I'm starting to have trip out and wonder if I'm going into another multiverse of some sort, some Vector 7. There's a new guy that has popped on the bus, sits about 4 rows up in the same seat as that guy 4 rows back. Looks identical to him. With the beard, the mustache, the glasses, the same build, the same height and everything. They got the same bald spot. Except for he's a little kind of hipper and fresher. Like he was into 90s, you know, like Maroon 5 and stuff. You know, he's got kind of a bob haircut and he's got yellow lenses for his glasses. Just slightly off, but the same person. And I just wonder, every time I get on the bus, they're there. Just sitting there. And I'm thinking to myself, has either one of them ever got on the bus and said, holy shit, bro, we look exactly the same? And why wouldn't, and if that would have occurred, of course, they'd be sitting together in the seat. But it is just so bizarre to me because, I mean, if a third one pops up, I'm losing my shit. I'm losing it. You know, the third guy gets on, looks exactly like the other guys, but he's got a mohawk or something. I'll be like, what is going on? Let's get into this. We got stuff to get to. We still got 3 bars here, but we got comments too that we want to get to. We're going to whip through this. I want to find out what the hell he's talking about. In a new interview with Mike Hsu, not Kazoo, HSU, Mike Hsu of 100 FM, the Pike radio station. Big fish out there. Big fish country out there at the Pike. They got pike. I'll take a fish sandwich. What do you got? Pike. Except singer Mark Tornillo was asked to clarify his recent comments. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. The United States is just not metal territory anymore. He explains, as transcribed by Blabbermouth. During that interview, oh, he's German. No, he's not. He's a regular guy, isn't he? During that interview, I was actually being interviewed by a couple of guys who I know. And that was just a line in passing. It was like, why don't you guys play here more often? Well, the fact of the matter is that we can't really afford to play here that often because we make way more money in Europe, South America, and the rest of the world than you do in the United States. Okay, I agree with everything he's saying. And if you think about it, most metal bands are playing smaller venues here. Unless you team up together and you go out and play the sheds, or you're Metallica with Pantera and you can sell out arenas. All right, I might be giving him a pass. I see KK's Priest down here. The things that are being pushed is not metal. I'm right. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I'm going to read the rest of this paragraph here, but I'm going to be right. He's going to say everything that I just said. The music, not so much the radios and stuff, but the record companies in this country do not push metal. They push whatever flavor of the week it is and aim towards kids. If they aimed metal towards kids, I think it would sell. So it's hard to say, but I certainly didn't mean it in a derogatory way. It's hard to say. I didn't mean it in a derogatory way. Shit. I just meant that it's very difficult for us to get to get a good tour together now. I saw Accept with Mark Tornillo and The Mighty, but they were opening for Creator. It's the last time I saw them. Referencing the fact that Accept is about to embark on a U.S. tour with KK's Priest, Tornillo added, luckily, we got 2 good bands together that are going to go out and we're going to kick some ass. We're on the same page. Ripper, KK Priest singer, you might have known him, Tim Owens. He was in Judas Priest, but they don't care about those 2 records. And I are becoming pretty good friends. And we're looking forward to doing a lot of things together. What are you going to do, Mark, with Ripper? Why do they call you Ripper? Here's the key to my room tonight. You'll find out. No. When Jesus noted that he didn't want to make it sound like Mark was dissing anybody or anything. Oh, I don't want it to sound like you're, I hope I didn't come across like I was thinking I was trying to get you to diss anybody or anything for that matter. Well, Mark, he says, but Blabbermouth did. Blabbermouth runs with it. That's the headline. The actual headline was, accepts Mark Tornillo, the United States is just not metal territory anymore. It was just a comment in passing. But they're bottom feeders. That's what they do. You're saying that about Blabbermouth? You son of a... I don't know about this guy. Is he German? He seemed like he was from like New Jersey or something. Mark's original comment came this past March when he gave an interview to Canada's The Metal Voice, asked the challenging of touring North America. Yeah. Oh, hold on. He's going to say something here. I see New Jersey. Asked about the challenging tour North America for a band like Accept, especially in the last few years, the now 70-year-old New Jersey-based singer who joined Accept in 2009, this replacement for the group's original singer, Udo Dirkschneider, said, "Hey, it's always going to be difficult to tour North America, all right? It's mostly promoters. And the fact that we need to play at least a big enough room where we're going to make some fucking money. But it's got to have the turnout to do it." You had it with Creator, baby cakes. But hey, we're not going to make it happen this year, no matter what. No matter what happens. I know that. We've all decided that this is what we're deciding, okay? We all decided that if we had to take a cut, we'll take a fucking cut. That's what we're going to do. But we got to play. We got to play for the fans. So I wish I knew he was from New Jersey. We have no fucking troubles at all selling tickets in South America. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you true. We have no trouble selling tickets in Europe. Or else, I think it's just the United States. It's just not metal territory anymore. I don't know why. There you go. Interested in the tour here? Well, I'll give you the tour dates. Guys, this is a heavy metal news podcast, and you might be Ripper Owen to go to this damn thing. Except tours with KK's Priest, which features Judas Priest member KK Downing guitar and the Tim man Ripper Letter Rip Owens on the vocals. And it will begin August 31st in Los Angeles, California, visiting a slew of major cities in the U.S. and Canada, such as Toronto, Tornillo in Toronto. You do a YouTube video. I'll fucking Mark Tornillo in Toronto. Montreal, New York, and Nashville, Tennessee. They love going there. Before coming to end in San Francisco on October 7th. There you have that. Slipknot Sid Wilson. He blew himself up in a bonfire, you guys. He third-degree burns, I believe it was, and he can't get a goddamn day to himself without Kelly Osbourne filming him when he's in miserable pain, sitting in the car, trying to get a nap. And she's going, "We're off to Disneyland, everybody." And he's going, "I just want to fucking sit at home. I exploded." Slipknot Sid Wilson. My face is basically melted after bonfire explosion. Slipknot Sid Wilson. And he is the scratcher for the band Slipknot. He's the guy that does the sound effects. They got rid of the computer guy, which I never understood what he did if Sid had computer bits over there. But he does all this, the squirks, the tweaks, and the wacky noises that you'd hear in a Slipknot song. This man's responsible for that. Slipknot's Sid Wilson spoke to Fox News about his recovery after suffering severe burns in a bonfire explosion last week. My whole right arm is bandaged up. Half of my left arm. My face is basically melted from my nose to my toes. No. My face is basically melted from my nose down. But the swelling gone down. And they said the face is kind of amazing. That it's regenerative. It happens real fast. Seems to heal quickly. I've had better days, I guess. But I'm alive, so I'm doing good. According to Wilson, he sustained the burns from a bonfire on his farm in Iowa, where he lives with his girlfriend, Kelly Osborne, and their 2-year-old son. They had a child. Boy, she really went on one of them super diets then, didn't she? She's like skeleton. I mean, the child is 2 years old, though. You can get some Pilates and some CrossFit in that time. All right, Sid's going to tell us. A few nights ago, I lit it. I let it burn down. So the next day, I went to check it to see. And you know how much was left, if anything? What? And I went to check it to see. You know how much was left, if anything? And there was a certain amount of debris around the side still left. So, like a dummy did what I'm not supposed to do, but I added some gas to it. And there was still smoldering red bits. What do they call that? Charcoal. There was still, yeah, that'll do it. After alerting Kelly, Sid was rushed to an urgent care before being transferred to a large hospital in Des Moines. Regarding how he's doing right now, Sid said, I'm not going to let it get me depressed. I'm not going to get down on it. The hardest part is just feeling stupid for damn doing it. I feel like an idiot. It's not even the physical part. It's like going, oh man, I really learned the hard way. I've got to make sure I just slow down sometimes and really examine the situation before I just dive in head first or feet first when you jump off things and break both your ankles. When Wilson first revealed his initial wounds, which included blisters and inflamed red skin all over his arms, his cheeks, and even his lips, he told his fans that he planned to recover quickly so he could join his Slipknot bandmates for their tour, which resumes in early September. Slipknot later released the following statement. Oh, I am so glad they did that because they're thinking of their brother. See, it says right here, our brother, Sid Wilson, was in an accident today and sustained burns across his body. He's recovering with his family and he will still join us on the stage at Rocklahoma next weekend. He thanks everybody for the well wishes and we'll see you all soon. The North American leg of Slipknot's Here Comes the Pain, and he's bringing it too, isn't he, Sid? He's bringing that pain. Bringing the Pain tour will resume on September 1st at the Rocklahoma Festival in Pryor, Oklahoma. They named that after Richard Pryor, that city, that town. That's awfully thoughtful of them that they did. Isn't he from Oklahoma? Let's see this real quick, guys. Then we're going to get into your comments. This is John 5. He's got his little rat dog there. What do they call that? What doesn't have hair on it? I might prefer a dog like that doesn't have hair that sheds off. Minute and 30 second. He's just doing a commercial saying, don't go buy new dogs. Go to the salons or whatever. Buy the old ones. Get the raggedy rickety ones. Don't go buy puppies. Don't go to a puppy farm. There's Johnny 5 right there. And his cowboy hat. Now look at that. He could have easily gave. Does he know Michael Sweet? He has coiffed that beard, that chin thing, and the soul patch that connects to it wonderfully. Does he have Michael's number? Say you fucked your soul patch up. Let's get into it. Let's see this little fella. What's he gonna do? What's his name? Muff Muff?
His hair is totally natural, and people think, oh, you spike it up or something. No, it just sticks up like that, and it's that color. I'm John 5 with PETA, and this here is Churro. This is a very sad story, but Churro was just left in the desert in San Bernardino in a box. If he was in there a few more hours, he wouldn't have made it. It's heartbreaking to even think about. We had to get Churro. There was like no ifs, ands, or buts.
Angelina Jolie? Is he dating Angelina Jolie?
We were lucky enough to adopt him, and he's just the best. We're so... What? This is interesting. This is about you. He is really lovable. He's really sweet. We literally can't go anywhere without him. He is always with us, so he is just a part of the family. When we're on tour, it's like a non-stop party. When he's a really good boy, he gets to get on the private plane, and he just loves it because he can run around and do his thing. So it is...
I have never been on a private plane in my life, and this guy's taking his damn rodents on there. When he's a good boy, he gets to go in the private planes. That's what my dog does. And here I am, a human being. I've never been on no private flights. I've never even been in first class. I've never even been in the first section of a plane. Or like the first sets of seats, you know. I'm always at the dead back where it's lumpy, bumpy, and banging around. And I hate flying.
A dog party on that plane for sure.
It's
so important to adopt because you see these helpless animals in there and they just want to be loved. You can see it in their face, you know.
Yeah.
When you adopt, it will enrich your life so much. Treat these animals how you want to be treated. Show them love, because all animals have feelings, and when you show them love, they'll show them to you. Just be kind to animals. Give them a good home.
Just be kind to animals and give them a good home. What's this? Makeup you shouldn't cost someone's life? What? Is this little video down in the corner? Oh my goodness, is that a PETA video where they're talking about whale blubber? They use that for makeup. They haven't managed a way to not use whale blubber. You know, all of these advances in life and technology, they just can't figure that out. They're like, we got to use goddamn whale blubber for our makeup. It's the only thing that works. Let's get into your comments. That's right. We got a handful of them. You guys have things to say, and that's what we're here to do. I got 2 bars. I'm going to start ripping and a-rolling. Let's go. Johnny B. He says, to start this week, I'd like to ask about 2 things. How is the Stephen King audiobook coming along? I couldn't do it, dude. I stopped. Have you finished it? No. What was the thing scratching and screeching in the shed? I don't know. I was a solid 8 hours in. If you know the story, I was a solid 8 hours into this book. This old man, he fell down. He's in the hospital. The kid visited him 1,000 times. I'm just to the part where he finally gets home, and he's got to be on Oxycontin pills. So it was 45 minutes, it seemed like, of this nurse, home nurse, and this young boy who's going to be the hero of the story needs to take care of this old stranger man that he doesn't hardly know anymore. And it was, now, when he gets to walking and he gets up the stairs, you're going to have to hide those Oxycontin somewhere else because he'll come up there and steal them. And because he's got a broken leg, we're going to set a bed up downstairs, and you put those Oxycontin pills upstairs. But if he gets to walking and he can get up them stairs, then, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do it. What's the word on the deer you've befriended? Is he coming back on the regular basis? I did snap that little short of 2 deer back there when I was on the treadmill working on my physique, my body, getting rid of some unwanted areas. And they do pop in. They pop in from time to time, and they don't seem jittery at all. So I think the whole head bouncing was checking to see, like you guys were saying, and I'm a good person, so they like me. Thank you for another riveting edition of Jive Talkin last week. I listened with reckless abandon and maximum enjoyment as always. Wonderful. Johnny B on the courtesy flush. Absolutely imperative. No matter what situation you might find yourself in, the courtesy flush is a must. Unless you're in the military and you leave the entire mess for your buddy to find, much to his befuddlement and frustration. Don't do that. Johnny B on AC/DC. Absolutely awesome. They sold that many copies. I myself have at least 4 copies that I have personally purchased over the years of the monumental Back in Black. I remember the first time I heard the song Back in Black and thought my mom would make me go to church if she found out. I mean, it hit you, didn't it? It's that guitar riff, like a lot of AC/DC, it just hits you. You're like, I remember staring at the If You Want Blood, You Got It album cover they used to have just a little stand of records in the grocery store. And I remember just going, that dude jammed that guitar through his guts. I gotta hear this. Johnny B on Megadeth. I feel like this version of the band is the best it's been in a while. Timu really brings some spice back to the songs from the bits I've heard, and I'm going to see this live without a doubt. I saw Liar posted and watched it immediately. Are you talking about my video? Which makes me a real fan now and was blown away. Great stuff. So he did, in fact, he's confirming for us now. If you remember, I said, if you didn't watch my video about Megadeth playing Liar, you're not a real Megadeth fan. He is indeed a real fan. Johnny B says, well, at this point, your battery is lower than you would like it to be. Yes. I'm signing off. I'm looking forward to the next weeks and weeks to come. Keep the awesome content coming, Mr. Diablo. Until next week, ... Edit. Shout out to your Joe Lynn Turner impersonation / character. Pronouncing Yngwie as Yingui. That's how I always pronounced it jokingly, my mommy head. What? That's how I always pronounced it jokingly, mommy head. Why are you calling me a mommy head all of a sudden? Yeah, I thought it was Yingui until, some nerd, some guy that was way more advanced in music went, dude, it's Yngwie Malmsteen. And I went, shit, sorry. Mike Buchanan coming in, and he's got his stuff here to say. Look at that. That's like, I believe he did put Moby Dick in here. We'll read a couple chapters of that. Oh, Shane, don't get better. It'll be like when bands remaster albums. Sure, it sounds better, but it's not the original. I agree. If I go on Spotify and I look up an album, I don't click remastered. I go to the original album. Mike Buchanan says, on this week's movies that are bad, but we love them anyway, Zombie Tidal Wave. I think he called it Zombie Wave or something last time, 2019. This movie was to be the heir apparent to the Sharknado movies, and he loves those. But lightning didn't strike twice for the Sci-Fi Channel. Following an incident at sea, a boat owner comes to believe that swarms of zombies mutated by a chemical spill undiscovered off the shore are being dropped on the residents of the area by an oncoming tsunami, and tries to help them get safely into chaos. And help them get to safety in that chaos. Overall, this one was an absolute blast of an effort. One of the strongest aspects to like here is the utterly relentless nature of the action scenes featured here. The fact that the initial sequence that starts the invasion on the town occurs minutes into the film gives spectacular pace to this. Yeah, I like it when they hit it right out the gate. Spectacular pace to this one, showing the crazy image early on. This is the biggest part of the film, where the idea of what's going on slowly gets crazier over time as it becomes aware of what's going on as the zombies are being transported from the sea to the shore. On top of that, the film's action content increases significantly once they arrive in town. The many battles and encounters with the zombies remaining throughout the town offer up a stellar amount of action here. From the race to escape the beach filled with creatures and their reanimating victims, as well as the beachside commuters getting swarmed and pulled down around the village. Likewise, battles in the police station to stop the creatures, or a series of thrilling encounters in a hospital that's slowly being overrun by the creatures manages to bring out some tense moments, as well as the greatest action and set that the stage of manages to bring out some tense moments, as well as the crazy action and set the stage for a crazy finale, featuring one main method of attacking the creatures and putting them down for good. The other great aspect of the film is the solid technical aspect of display. The central storyline here manages to do something unique and original, with the zombies as their sea-based setup causes some well-thought-out wrinkles to their traditional setup. Okay. With the use of headshots no longer having any effect on the zombies. The change to having electricity be the singular source of dismantling the creatures is a nice change that is given some rather fine backstory due to the massive conspiracy involving the cover-up. That's also rather intriguing cause here, with the seeming setup of corruption turning out to provide this with some solid backstory here. They're dumping shit in the seas. As well, with the nautical setup here providing a running theme into the zombie makeup design, which is solid. Running theme into the zombies makeup design, which is solidly touched, and plenty of practical gore. Always good when they got the practical effects. It's never as good if you don't have the practical. There's plenty there's plenty to like overall here. That said, their CGI, there's so much. The biggest problem is, that said, there are some minor flaws featured here, as to be expected in these kinds of efforts. The film's biggest problem is the uniformly terrible CGI. There's so much to like here with the practical effects for the zombies, that when we see the CGI mess of them wandering through the scenery or seeing the blood splattered spraying around, they never get that blood splatter. There's a sense of disappointment here due to the drastic change in appearance. There's way too much of it, especially in the final half, where their over-the-top plan to not only stop the zombies, but also to finally get the main ship underneath the water, which is somewhat expected. But also to finally get the main ship underneath the water, which is somewhat expected considering the setup featured, but is still a prominent feature here. Beyond that, there isn't much else to dislike. Grab your favorite beverage, sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play. I feel like I have a headache, but I also feel like I read that pretty good for the most part, for not being a reader. Mike Buchanan here says, my first time ever hearing the Back in Black was when I happened to be visiting my grandma. Your grandma was rocking it. I rounded the corner of her house to find my cousin sitting in the backyard with a boombox. Gotta love the boombox. From that, I hear the sounds of a bell ringing. And then that guitar kicked in. The thump of that bass drum, kick in the snare, fill out the sound with a second guitar, Malcolm, and I was hooked. I still, to this day, listen to Back in Black. Fantastic album. Fucking cousin, the rich cousin, had the boombox. Oh, we're getting down on that. Gotta go. Mike Buchanan says, "Oh, Mark, what did you do? You just have been more open about doing a project band. Sorry, it won't be the same without Mark being the vocalist for Death Angel." Yep. They're going to dissolve again. Mike Buchanan says, "Talking about James Clemenzo, I have yet to see him perform with Megadeth, but I have, however, seen him live with Slash and with David Lee Roth. Maybe someday I'll get to see him live with Dave and the boys." Mike Buchanan says, Mike D's a satanic McDonald's character. Or Mickey D and Mickey D's a satanic McDonald's character, ... It was meant to be. Let's see. Mickey was also on the Don Dawkins solo album. Oh, Up From the Ashes. Played with Halloween during the Rabbit Don't Come Easy era. Did we do a video where I thought I set eyes on him? And yes, you are correct, Shane. He's now with Scorpion since 2016. I did get to see him with King Diamond back in the 90s. That would have been great. Mike Buchanan says, the Blaze Bayley era of Iron Maiden is not one that I am familiar with. We'll need to go listen to those 3 albums someday. Excuse me, Bruce, what? Excuse me, Bruce, what? Yeah, I get that you didn't get out Dickinson at what? Yeah, I get that you didn't get out Dickinson at first. Glad, when I said Dicks. Glad I wasn't drinking something when the faux pas happened, because you would have spit it everywhere. Don't be drinking anything when old Steel Panther guy's talking about all them dicks. And now it's time for the Jive Talkin jokes of the week. My teacher always said, don't worry about correct spelling because we have autocorrect. And for that, I'm infernally grapefruit. How does good King Wenceslas like his pizza? Deep pan, crisp, and even. I don't know what any of that means. I hear that Elvis Costello is touring with ABBA next year. It's the ABBA and Costello Who's on First tour. That real, or did you just make the joke up because that's not a real tour that's happening? What does it say? Veronica! I like me a little bit of his punkier stuff, Elvis Costello. Mike Buchanan, Jive Talkin joke here. What happens when a microscope crashes into a telescope? They kaleidoscope. And finally, wife doing her morning crosswords. Where is Dakar? Me. In the garage. Last I checked. Isn't that a cologne, Dakar? There you go, my friend. There's your heart. We get on to Miss Althea here. She's got her stuff. The Dumbstruck Fool says, doesn't your camera / phone, whatever you use to film, have an AC adapter? It does. It's not long enough. The cord's this long. Miss Althea on AC/DC. Speaking of AC, Back in Black was a huge part of the soundtrack of my freshman year in high school. I was all about it, and I wore the grooves out of it just like millions of others. However, as time went on, it kind of lost its flavor for me. I still love it, but I would honestly be perfectly content if I never heard the title track, You Shook Me All Night Long, or Hell's Bells ever again. All have been and still are obnoxiously outplayed. Yes, they play those songs. You could turn on I do this right now. Turn on your radio, scan all the rock radio stations. One of those songs will be playing. You Shook Me All Night Long, or yeah. Do it right now. Try it. Miss Althea on James Lomenzo. I keep forgetting that he's in Megadeth, and I also keep forgetting that I saw him play in Ace Frehley's solo band, which is ridiculous since I was right in front of the stage at that show. Huh, I didn't know that. Saw him play with White Lion only once. They were opening for Cinderella, from what I recall. I saw White Lion open for Aerosmith on the Permanent Vacation Tour. All that aside, I will say again that Temu needs to get an endorsement deal with online shopping giant Temu. Come on. Miss Althea on Mickey D. I couldn't get past you referring to King Diamond as a satanic McDonald's character. I immediately started imagining a whole ad campaign with him and Hamburglar, with cute little matching capes and all. Do you want fries with your Happy Meal, or do you just want to fry in hell? I just couldn't stop laughing. Oh, she's got stuff on Big Bird here. Carol Spinney / Big Bird topic revisit. The Sesame Street episode that pays tribute to the character of Mr. Hooper and the passing of actor Will Lee, may he rest in peace, still makes me bawl. And to anyone who watches it and doesn't do the same, then I agree with you, Shane. They don't have a soul. And rest in peace, Jim Henson, the creator of the whole Sesame Street Muppet Empire. Yes, indeed. I mean, it is just a sweet moment, you know, because Big Bird's only like 8 years old. He might be a big bird, but he's only 8. 8 human years, right? He would probably only be 8 months old on Sesame Street. Miss Althea says, I echo and 100% endorse Mike B's plug for the creature from the Black Lagoon franchise. All 3 movies are epic and classic. I would dare say the biggest sci-fi horror cornerstone from my childhood, second only to original Godzilla franchise. His Lancelot joke immediately made me think of another very small nugget from my childhood, which was the early 70s show Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp. Please tell me that I am not the only one who remembers it. I've never heard that ever. And we're not even got a blinking red light. I'm feeling so good right now. There's your heart, Miss Althea. Now, here's the thing that happened. I was only seeing 3 comments. So I hit the button thing, and it usually erases the read mores, right? Remember we was having that problem? Well, I opened up the read mores. That's why you didn't see me click anything, because I opened up all 3 of their things. Then I hit that newest first, whatever the button is. I'm losing my shit. And these 2 fine people came down below. So I need to hit that, but I just got to remember to make sure and click that read more's open, because then they didn't go anywhere. Ocean Bleed. Oh man. I got turned on to King Diamond by this hippie kid named Jonas in the late 80s. Jonas lived with his grandma, who embodied the KD grandma character perfectly. The King Diamond grandma. Oh, really? In a wheelchair and all? Oh, he says she fucking terrified me. Of course he's listening to King Diamond. Of course. And you go over there. Grandma, this is my friend. What are you doing today? Is he staying for dinner? It's not that I'm making dinner. It's that he is dinner. You know, something like that. Everyone had one of those. I had a friend named Larry, and he had the older brother that had all the, you know, I'm telling you, it was the long hair. He was the dude from freaking Stranger Things, season 9, whatever it is, when he played Metallica. He was that, he had the older brother like that. But his dad was weird because he was just this little ginger fella with a red beard and red hair, greased and everything. And he would just sit in this chair. And he never spoke, but every time we came in, we'd have to dodge piles of they had 2 Great Danes living in the house. So you would dodge massive cow pies of dog turd. And the guy would just be sitting in a chair, and he'd just watch you go by, just watch us, and then, and I don't know that Larry ever said much to him. I was like, Dad, hey Dad, that's it, but weird enough. There's your heart, my friend, very good, very good. And of course, Sticky Doll here, talking about the courtesy flush. The courtesy flush equals drown out the loud blasting sound. No one wants to smell or hear anyone else shitting, except for the pervs. Well, I'm pretty consistent. I don't have a lot of loud, I'm on a firm, steady diet of fiber and all of that. So there's never any loud blasting that goes on. It's very pleasant, but that's for another day. That's for another thing. Okay. Bang. There's the heart. We have done it, my guys. We have done it. We made it through another episode. I've still got battery there. At some point, I'm going to get another camera, and hopefully it'll have better zoom quality, and it'll have better audio quality and all of that. But, when the time strikes me, that'll be the time that happens, okay? Until then, what is this going on here? Seize the day. Get out there. Take good care of yourself. Don't let anybody get you down. Suicidal tendencies, baby. You can't bring me down. If there's somebody stressing you out in your life and you're just like, man, I can't deal with this, don't deal with it. You only got one life to live. You got a little bit of time on the planet, baby. Live it the best you can live it for yourself, okay? That doesn't mean be selfish and rude and be a bastard bitch, okay? It just means be sure that you're taking care of yourself because you're kind of important too. You can't take care of anybody else or care about anybody else's stuff before you care about your own. Care about yourself and love yourself tonight in bed. Listen to this beautiful little podcast. I forgot the word, this podcast. Fat fingers won't touch these keys properly. There we go now. Jive Talkin with Shane D. 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 Come on. Talkin with the name. Oh, come on, baby, 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 yeah, yeah.